What's up, gamers? Ben and Brent here from Short Pause, and got something to talk to you guys about tonight. This won't be a big song and dance, won't be an incredibly long video from us here, but you guys are probably wondering where the podcast is, what's going on with it, why we haven't put out an episode recently. It behooved us to get on here and talk to you guys about what's going on. And first and foremost, want to apologize for not getting a podcast out last week. I was out of town on business, so we weren't able to put a show together for you guys. But we've got some other things we want to discuss pertaining to the podcast, and kind of let you guys know, like what's going on with Short Pause, what our plans are for the future, kind of where we're moving as a website and as a I don't know, as a media entity, YouTube channel, whatever you want to call us. But we want to kind of peek behind the curtains, open the doors for you guys, give you a little bit of the nitty gritty of what our plans are for Short Pause moving forward here, so you guys are all in the know, so you understand what's going on. Brent, talk to me. What are we doing at Short Pause? What in the hell's going on?
I know what's going on. Straight chaos. Well, I can tell you what's not going on. The Short Pause isn't going anywhere. We still have plans for Tower Talk. We still have plans for the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight. We're still going to be pushing for interviews with developers. We have a lot of plans for Short Pause Gaming going forward. Short Pause Gaming isn't going anywhere. But at this time, Short Pause Gaming Podcast is kind of going to take a break. We're going to put it on hiatus just for a little bit because well, first of all, there's a lot of life things that are getting in the way. We've been doing this for a long time, dude. We're 170 episodes in. We've been, we put our heart and soul into this. And when you put your heart and soul into something, it usually takes up a lot of time, and sometimes it eats away at other parts of your life that you don't intend it to, but you have to kind of bring things into focus and realize where you're at. And we're at that point right now where we've got some life issues that need to be addressed. We want to make sure that we're spending time with family and we're taking care of ourselves. And and I'll be the first to admit, I went to the doctor recently, and I'm a big guy, and I need to better myself. So there's some things I need to take care of during the week. Boys, I know you want to spend some time with your family. We all do, and that's first and foremost. But our other passion is Short Pause Gaming and the Short Pause Gaming Podcast. And for myself, we've been producing this for a long time, boys, and it's gotten a lot. It's bigger than we ever thought we would be. We really appreciate our community, the people that tune in every single week, the people that are listening on iTunes, SoundCloud, all those spots, and the people that watch every weekend. We obviously appreciate and we love your support, and we love interacting with you during the stream. But there's just something that when you work on something for so long, there's always the fear of being complacent. And when I look around at some of the other podcasts that are out there, and just recently, I'm watching some of these other ones, I'm like, man, our show is pretty much the same format that everybody else has. They start out the podcast, they talk about what they're playing, and then they go into the news, and then they wrap things up. And as much as I love our podcast, I think we do a really, really good job that we avoid a lot of the nonsense, a lot of the negativity. We don't do the drama thing. We just report the news, and we talk about the games that we play a little bit and what's coming out that week. And I love that. I think it's been a great show so far. However, it's gotten to the point where I feel like we can do something different, something better. And, we have a lot of strong personalities. Frankie's a very strong personality. You've got strong opinions about things. I have strong opinions about things. Bender's got strong opinions about things. And we want to make sure that we're doing the best at getting those opinions out there and having an entertaining show in the process. We want to talk about games more. We want to talk about the games that we're playing more. We want to talk about other topics surrounding games, not necessarily in the news, but just things that we can talk about that'll incite more, debate, or maybe a little bit more colorful conversation with one another, inspire some dialogue between us, because I feel like that's our strength, conversating with one another when we talk about things, not so much reporting things that have already been reported, especially a couple days later. That's the one thing about our podcast is we typically go live and we talk about stuff that's already been hot during the week, and it's just, I feel like we're missing out on what we could be really, really good at. So we're actually going to take back the podcast. We're going to take a look at things. We're going to retool it. We're going to break it down and try to come up with a better format that's not only more fun for us, but more fun for you, the viewer and the listener. We want to find a way to get you guys and girls more involved with the show on a weekly basis, whether it's writing in questions or writing in suggestions or commenting on topics that we talked about the week before. I mean, we want to get you involved more. We want when we're doing the live show on YouTube or on Twitch or on Mixer, we want to get the chat more involved. We want to get your opinions more. So there's a lot of things we're trying to evaluate. We're going to look into and see what kind of changes we can make. But boys, that's the gist of it. We're just trying to come up with a show that's a little bit different, but also fits what we're all really good at, and that's talking to one another and just talking about games.
Yeah, I think you hit on a lot of good stuff there. First and foremost, when it comes to like work life, personal life, short pause life, there's a lot of things to juggle. There's a lot of things to balance, and myself personally, I haven't always done the best at that. So whether it's not putting enough time in at home, not putting enough time in a short pause, not focusing at my job like I'm supposed to, like whatever the case may be, I haven't perfected the finding the balance between all this stuff that I
Mm-hmm.
want to do. I'm very very passionate about games, very passionate about what we do at Short Pause, and I'll be the first to tell you that I've really enjoyed making the show for the last 170 episodes. It's cathartic for me every week. There's a lot of stuff that happens during the news, and when you're busy during the week, you don't a lot of times have time to talk about it. But there was always that spot at the end of the week on Saturday night when I could count on getting on there with you guys and talking about some of the stuff and talking through my opinions or talking through, what I thought about what was going on. And we've done some, I think, some really good things with the podcast over the years. In particular, I'm especially fond of the way that we covered like the mid-cycle refresh consoles. I
Mm-hmm.
thought we really like dug into that stuff, whether it was NX or whether it was Morpheus or whatever the Xbox One X was called, Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
Like we really dug our teeth into that stuff. We reported on the news, on the rumors, like each and every week. So I loved doing that kind of stuff, and we're probably gonna have some of that stuff coming up in the near future here as we get
Oh yeah.
closer to this next generation of consoles. And even on a day like today, where there's a lot of stuff going on that I'm super interested in, we have a PlayStation Classic that was announced today. We have PUBG announced. It was Korean ratings board PUBG for PS4. We got a ratings board post for Castlevania Symphony of the Night on PlayStation. So this is interesting stuff to talk about, and part of me is gonna miss like knowing that I have that thing there at the end of every week where I can talk about this stuff. But there's other stuff going on with this, Brent. So this is not our attempt to, like you said, just remove the podcast. This is our attempt to try and dig in and make something that's more unique to what we do. But also, this is a proactive move on our part.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to tackle the news and things as they happen. And you mentioned one of the strengths of our show is being able to get into these discussions with all the different personalities that we have and have conversations about this stuff. And we have a better opportunity to do that when we tackle this stuff fresh. So on a day like today, as we move towards the future here, on a day like today when a PlayStation Classic is announced, like we can sit down on our YouTube channel here at the end of the day, and we can have a discussion video and go up right then and there and tackle the news as it comes.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the things that we want to do for the future here is tackle the news as it happens, give you guys opinions and our thoughts on whatever's going on in the industry as it happens, instead of you having to wait sometimes a week, sometimes 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If we miss a show for whatever reason to get this stuff out to you. And I think our ultimate goal at this, Brent, is to have like a playlist on our channel that has all of our discussions on it. It's almost going to be like a de facto podcast for
Mm-hmm.
you. This will be in addition to the new podcast that we come up with in the near future here, and I definitely mean that when I say near future. Like this is something that I really need to have in as a part of my life. So, I don't want us to wait too long before we get back on the horse here. We've got ideas we're talking about. We've got things that we're retooling. So we'll be back out here before you know it. But if anything, this is going to be a move that gives you guys even more content from us. And that's our ultimate goal. Not only to give you more content, give you more of what you like from the site here, but give us more time to actually play the games that we're talking about, to actually sit down in front of the TV and actually play Destiny before we do an episode of Tower Talk,
Mm-hmm.
and actually, play all these new games that are coming out each and every week. Like right now, it's a very tough balancing act to do that with what we're doing. And that's not all because of the podcast, but Saturday night is a night that, like you mentioned, is good for either playing a game or scheduling something of that ilk, or it's a great time to spend with my wife, to spend with my family. Like it's time that I've missed out on for the last 3-4 years, however long we've been doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of stuff we're thinking about here. But the ultimate goal, the ultimate kind of message here from us, Brent, is that if anything, Short Pause is just going to get better from here. Like that's what we want. That's why we're doing this. Like we want to bring you a product that we continue to improve on, that we're not stagnant in. Like you said, we don't just want to rest on our laurels and put out the same thing each and every week. Like we want to think outside the box. We want to grow. We want to get better with this, and you guys deserve that. Some of you guys have been listening to us for 170 episodes. I don't know why, but thank you for those of you that have been here since the beginning. I think of a guy like Angels and Demons. That guy's
Hmm.
been here since the very beginning, man. And so like it's really like touching to be able to know that we've been able to at least impact at least somebody in that kind of way,
Hmm.
like where they tune in each and every week and are interested, genuinely interested in what they have to say. And that's the other thing about this, Brent. Like there's going to be people that are disappointed in what we're doing and what we're saying right now. There are people that are not going to be happy. Some people probably get a lot of their news from what we do on the show here. So
Hmm.
I get all that, and I understand that it's going to be an adjustment. And when we come back, we're not going to be just covering the news like we were before. So I get that, some of you are not going to be too fond of that, but I just ask that you give us a chance. You let us kind of get our plans rolling here, retool this thing, get back to giving you guys something unique and special that we're capable of, and just hang in there. Like this is going to be a great ride,
Hmm.
and we're still going to give you like that content that you want, Brian. Like I said, or like you said, Tower Talk is going to be a weekly show. We're going to do that every single week. We're going to get in there. We play Destiny all the time. We are
Hmm.
going to be on Tower Talk talking about this game, talking about everything that breaks, and all that stuff. So that's not going anywhere. The Tuesday Indie Spotlight, we just did one last night. It was a lot of fun. We're going to keep doing that each and every week. So the stuff that you come to know and expect from us, all of it's still going to be there. And there's going to be some new stuff on top of that. You just won't have the podcast every week to look forward to right now. But
Hmm.
that will change in the near future here.
Yeah. Yeah, boys pretty much summed it all up. Like I said, we're not going anywhere. Bender and Frankie aren't going anywhere. We're just retooling things and going to try to come up with something a little bit more creative. And like Ben said, I'm sure some of you will be disappointed, and hopefully you won't leave us. And if you do, I understand. Like I said, you expect a certain podcast from us, and we appreciate that support. But we're going to do our best to try to keep you on board with this new show that we're going to try to plan out. I'm really confident that we're going to come up with something that you're going to want to be a part of every single week. It might not be, talking about every single news topic from the week, but we're going to have stuff there to talk about. We're going to want to get your opinion. We're going to want you to be a part of things. That's the reason we do this, because we interact with you guys and girls. We want to interact more. We want to have something where you want to be like, damn, I don't want to miss this show because I want to see what they got to say, because I want to put my opinion out there and I want them to discuss that. We have a lot of cool ideas. We're just trying to put it all together. It's going to take a couple weeks, but it's not going to be it's not going to be very long. Like Boy said, we understand that you guys and girls love tuning in. We love having you there. So that's something we're definitely going to work on as quickly as possible. Like Boy said, in the meantime, everything else that you would expect, we're still going to be working on trying to get developer interviews. That'll be just the interviews themselves on the channel. They won't be a part of a podcast just now, but we're going to work hard to try to get more interviews. We're going to keep kicking out the Let's Plays. We're going to keep doing the Tuesday Night Indie Spotlight and everything that you expect from us. We just want you to bear with us while we try to get this podcast thing straightened out and create a show that we're really, really excited about doing, that we know that you'll be really, really excited to be a part of and watch and listen to every single week. So that's basically all we wanted to tell you. We're not going anywhere. We're just retooling some things, and we'll have something for you shortly. But everything else is as business as usual.
I think that about sums it up, man. The bottom line is, if anything, we're going to be bringing you even more of the content that you know and love from Short Pause. We want to bring even more of our discussions that have kind of been our bread and butter over the years, and we want to come back with a podcast that's befitting of you that have listened to us since the very beginning. Like, we want to give you something that's special. We want to give you something that's up to the standards that we have for ourselves, and ultimately something that we can get behind and that we can have fun with as well.
Mm-hmm.
So so we're not going anywhere. Keep on the lookout. Got even more stuff coming. In fact, we'll be back tomorrow night with the newest episode of Tower Talk, so make sure that you tune in for that. So Brent, that is going to do it for us. So for Brent, I'm Ben. For Frankie, for Bender, thank you to everybody that has supported the podcast over the last 4 years since we started this thing. We cannot thank you guys enough. We cannot wait to get back with something that you guys are going to be even more excited about as we shoot forward with the future of Short Pause here.
Yes, sir.
So thanks to everybody who watched the video. Thanks to everybody who stuck with us over the years. We'll see you guys tomorrow night, 10 p.m. ish Eastern for Tower Talk. See you guys then.
See you guys.